My youngest son loves to do woodworking, so I hired him to build us a gazebo and a fire pit in our backyard. Welcome back to Harvest Moon Farm. My name is Nikki. If you're new around here, I focus on homesteading activities, primarily cooking and baking, gardening, food preservation. We do have some animals. We have 2 coops with chickens. We've got a few ducks, and we have 5 Nigerian dwarf goats. So this is my husband and my youngest son. I asked my youngest son to build me a gazebo that we could put over our fire pit. We wanted to make a fire pit, and I wanted the gazebo around it. It's going to be an octagon, and I want rock, so pea gravel, around the fire pit so that we can put our chairs in it and it won't be dangerous like big rocks would be, twisting everybody's ankle. And so he figured out what kind of angles he needed to cut, and he's measuring everything out, and he's very particular, which is part of the reason that I hired him. So he is making sure that everything is lined up correctly, and he's making all of the cuts in these first beams. So here they're taking the first the first set of cut beams, and they are lining them up to just make sure that they fit the way that Josh expected them to. And they did. He's pretty happy with them. These beams were pretty wet when he bought them, and so he's struggling a little bit with the saw. It keeps getting all gummy, and he is getting really frustrated because it's been so hard to cut these beams. So their plan now is they're using the side of the deck to kind of help support these beams, since there's just the 2 of them and I'm not really any help, to hold these up while they attach the first cross beam. And so they're trying to get it set up so that it's the right width apart to hold the 8-foot beam and make sure that it's going to stay so they can get that up there. So they've asked me to come and hold something. Oh, yes, they've asked me if I will just hold this while they put that other beam up and make sure that everything is straight. And so they are trying to figure out if it's going to work. once they got that first set put together, then they used those angled 2x4s and the sawhorses to kind of help hold it up while they started adding new sections around the octagon and screwing them together. So they've been using this homemade support that's there on the left to help them hold the pieces up there while they get everything set. And so my husband's on the ladder lining up that piece, and then Josh is setting it on top of that support beam while he gets the other leg and gets everything lined out so they can screw the pieces together. My granddaughter Isla checking out her dad's work, make sure he did a good job. She makes a great supervisor. And finally, here they are. They've got the last cross beam going up, and they're just making sure that it fits correctly and all the angles line up right, and then Josh is going to secure it with some screws. also going to put a header bar across the very top of those cross beams so that it'll have kind of a nice finished look. So that's what they're doing now, is measuring that and making sure that everything is going to fit correctly. Okay, so on this day, Josh is back with one of his buddies, and they are going to actually put in the rock and the edging for the actual fire pit center of this structure. So Josh is just using the push mower to mow it down as low as he can get it with. Our push mower goes really low, practically to the dirt, so it did a good job. And then they're going to start laying down weed mat, and then the gravel, and then they've got some really beautiful edging that they're putting on it. So they've got this really beautiful stone that they're using for edging around this to help keep the gravel in. It's a really pretty brown and tan and gray sort of. So that is better than what I was thinking of, the concrete pavers that would have just kind of blended in with the rock. So this actually turns out just looking really beautiful. for the rest of those header boards across the top. Josh came back on Friday night and finished all of those, and so it was ready and beautiful for our Halloween party.